Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Katie. Hi there, I'm Katie. I'm one of the many people who during this pandemic has taken up the hobby of collecting way too many plants. There's my plant shelf. That is not all of them, and compared to what I've seen on the internet, is not even that large of a collection, so yeah. I've been collecting plants for about 3 months. There was a good while there where I could not leave my house without coming back with a plant, and then a good while where I could just stay in my house and order plants. That's fun. And I feel like in that time, I have learned the bare minimum of keeping these plants alive. So I figured I would share my collection, share what I know. If you're looking for some really expert tips, I would get on how to hear. This is how to not kill most of your plants. And you know, if at any point in this video you think to yourself, that can't be right, yeah, go with that. I wouldn't listen to me. I'm doing my best, I'm having fun, and without further ado, let's look at some plants. That's what you're here for, I know. So the first one I'll talk about is the one I have right here in front of me. This is one of my more recent ones. This is a Marble Queen Pothos. I love it to death. It's in a hanging basket. This is one of those plants that thrives on being left alone. I have what you'd call the too much gene, so it is sometimes hard to back off and not water it 6 times a day, but you know what? We gotta give it room to grow. We gotta keep it cool and not be overbearing. It's a really gorgeous plant. It's got really cool variegating on the leaves. I just really love this one. And yeah, pothoses, they're known for being really hard to kill, but you just gotta back up and let them do their thing. So the next 2 plants I'll be talking about are my 2 newest. So I don't totally know their needs yet, but I'll just show you them because they're quite nice. This is my Tradescantia pallida. That can't be right. I think it's also known as spiderwort, but it has this really pretty purple in it. It's almost like shimmery. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I put it in a purple pot to color coordinate. This one I believe is partial sun, so not in direct sunlight, and you know, just water moderately. Don't go overboard. Back off and not water it 6 times a day, but don't let it dry out. When I got it at the Safeway, it was soaked, so I haven't actually watered it since I brought it home because it's basically been sitting in mud. I did repot it, but next one I got at that same Safeway is my rubber tree. I really like this one. It's, again, just got really pretty leaves. This one actually, this top leaf completely curled over when I first brought it home because it was so drowned. In its original pot, the soil was like mud. But with a few days just in its new pot, not in so much water, it's drained back out. This one I know likes more sun. I would call it full sun. Obviously don't let it dry out or burn, but yeah. Next up is my nerve plant, also known as a Fittonia. I have 2 variations in the same white pot right now, so I have the red and then the pink. I love the way they look together. They're really gorgeous. They've got a lot of new growth on them, which is nice to see. This is a plant that is so moody, let me tell you. If I go without watering it, it completely flops over. It looks like it's dead. It's a dramatic relatable. But yeah, just give it a little more water and you'll see it perk up. They are partial sun, but you'll see them get more vibrant and thrive in full sun. So whether you want to pop them in the windowsill a few days to get that extra sun or leave them, all up to you. But yeah, really gorgeous plant, really nice way to add a pop of color to your shelf. Oh my god, I can't get up. This next plant is the one that I have the most love-hate relationship with. It was the first plant I bought that I was kind of like, this is a risk on if I can keep it alive. It is gorgeous, and I don't trust myself with it, but I'm really glad I bought it because honestly it has thrived more than any of my other plants. It is constantly putting out new leaves. This is the only plant I am really comfortable about pruning. I don't mind cutting down dead leaves, and honestly you get a lot. As new ones come, you will get ones that are getting floppier, older, and you need to cut back to make room for the new ones. This is a tuberous plant, so it will go dormant eventually, and you'll need to cut it down to just the tubers so they may lay dormant in their off season, but then they'll grow back up eventually. So the reason that I have such a love-hate relationship with this plant is it has gotten mealybugs twice. Now, bugs are just an unfortunate thing that come with plants, you know? But yeah, this one's gotten mealybugs twice. It's not super hard to fix if you catch it early. What I did was I sprayed it down with rubbing alcohol just really well, because the rubbing alcohol will evaporate and it doesn't really harm your plants. But because the bugs are soft-bodied, it will kill them on contact. So I sprayed it down, and you have to isolate it from your other plants because the mealybugs will move to your other ones, and you really don't want that. So yeah, this almost made me give up on my plants because I don't want bugs in my room. Call me crazy. I do love it though. It is gorgeous, and I love how much growth it puts out. So yeah. This is one of the ones where you can get a lot of really pretty variations on it. They come in really gorgeous pinks, reds, whites, whatever. This plant here is my Gold Dust Croton. This is another one I found while in Safeway. Like I said, Safeway, guys, you know, hit or miss, but you can find some gems there. This one I really love. It has also had a ton of new growth. I just repotted it. This one can get really tall, so it will likely eventually be a floor plant if I can keep it going. It really doesn't like to be moved though too much. I moved it for the sake of this video, but normally it stays put. So yeah, try to find a spot for it and leave it there. This is another one that's partial sun. I water it moderately. Back off. I haven't had problems with this one going brown or anything, so it's safer to water regularly, but still don't let that too much gene take over. Keep it cool. Okay, so I want to talk about my Monstera. It's kind of huge. Let's see if I can get it on the desk. There we go. What a great view of it. Okay, so this is my big boy Monstera. I can't get it up on the desk to show you a better view, so it'll just sit here for now. I have almost killed this plant time and time again. This is one where my too much gene really does harm. It doesn't like to be overwatered. It likes to stay humid, so I do give it a mist every now and then, but it really doesn't like to sit in water, so you have to be really careful. I did repot it because I didn't realize it was so root bound when I bought it. So I made sure it had a really good drainage hole at the bottom. I filled the bottom with rocks as well for extra drainage. And honestly, it's been doing a lot better since. When I first brought it home, it put out these two gorgeous leaves. They have perfect splits. They are like the ideal picture what you see when you see photos of Monsteras. But from what I've been told, that's a delayed response. So these are not a tell of my care for it. These are a tell of how happy they were in their previous environment. I haven't had it for I think more than a month, so I'm waiting to see if it puts out a new leaf. But it did go through root rot. So what I did to fix that was I repotted it. It was really root bound, and you have to make sure that its roots aren't sitting in water. So I added a really quick dry soil. I put rocks at the bottom for good drainage, and I made sure it had a really good drainage hole. And I just try to not overwater it. It takes everything in my being not to water it every day, but you just gotta back off, be hands off, and give it its own space. I did have it staked up here because this leaf was flopping over, and after about 2 weeks, it started standing up right on its own again, so I don't know if that's an indicator that I'm doing better or if it's just used to it, but yeah, it does look a lot better than it did a week ago. Fingers crossed that it continues to do well because I really love this plant. These two I grouped together because I feel like they look very similar. They should not look similar. This plant is the first one I ever got. It started the collection. If you know plants off the top of your head, this is a hybrid fuchsia. Now, looking at it, it looks nothing like what it should. I will pop up a picture of what it should look like. It has turned into a vine. I should probably just cut it down to its base and let it kind of regrow back to what it should look like, but I kind of love it this way. I don't know why. I don't think it'll flower. We're kind of in that season where it should, so I'll have to see if it does. But yeah, it's intriguing. It's you know, it's growing, it's finding its identity, and it looks great. I like it. I say it looks similar because the next one I'm going to talk about is my string of hearts. Now this one is one that my friend propagated from her string of hearts. And as you can see, it's been really successful. I think when I got it, it stopped at about here. So all this is new growth, and it's still, you can see, there we go. You can see it's got 2 baby leaves on the bottom here, so it's still going. This one's still going. It's kind of split off here where it'll grow more. This one has been shorter. I did find that it wasn't growing as fast, so I snipped off the little end because it was a bit dry, and it seems to be now growing. You can see the 2 tiny green leaves. So yeah, I really love this one. She put in a lot of cute things. You'll notice the rock there, and that's because in propagating with these kind of vine plants, and this is on her advice, she said that you want to keep them touching the soil so that way the roots can continue to like grow and dig in the soil. So I keep the rock on there. This is one that tolerates dry conditions more than wet. Any plant in a smaller container, you kind of have a hard balance of finding how to keep it moist but not like soaked through, because then you do run the risk of drowning them. Yeah, it's adorable. It's done really well, and I really like it. It's a really cute one for hanging. Hers is huge, and I hope one day it looks just like that. Another thing I wanted to share that's kind of a fun little spin-off hobby you can do if you do have a lot of plants is propagating them. This you can do with a clipping of the plant. This one I did because a piece fell off, and I figured it was a good enough clip that I could pop it in some water. And if you look, it's growing roots really successfully. Not where I expected the roots to come out. It kind of grew a note above where I thought they'd come, but that's a fun hobby, and now it can be its own plant. So if you want to gift it to someone or just continue to grow your collection, you can do that. Way too many plants. This is one I've moved out of water. This is a little piece of my sister's Christmas cactus that I stole when I was there. It has really good roots, but it's still just tiny now, so hopefully we'll see that get bigger. A more unsuccessful propagation I've done is these, they're falling in, Raven ZZ leaves. My friend and I ordered this plant online, and sadly it just didn't come in very good conditions. So the leaves kind of started to fall off, and as they did, I tried to see if I could get them to grow new roots and maybe get a new plant out of it, but I don't think it's working, unfortunately, so yeah. But yeah, it's a really fun way to add to your collection or gift. Like I said, I have a propagated plant, the string of hearts, that's doing really well. That's from my friend, so fun way to get new plants. Double your plants, double your fun. So that is most of my plants. I didn't show all of them today. Some of them just aren't doing very well, and I didn't really want to expose myself like that. This one is an ivy back here that I'm training to crawl up the shelf, so I didn't want to unclip it for this. I just give it light and moderate water. And honestly, that's kind of the best advice I can give, is light and moderate water. It's gonna be hard to not let that too much gene take over, but you really just wanna step back and find what's best for your plants. You'll wanna move them a million times to see where they thrive in your house. South-facing windows are always the best for sunlight. I have an east-facing window, and I think that's about the second best you can do. I also live in a basement, so I do not buy plants that are not at least partial shade, because they just won't thrive down here. We'll have to see how the rubber tree does, because I think it likes more sun, but if it's getting droopy, I just pop it in the window where it can soak up a little bit more light. Another kind of tip I can give you is if it's brown and crispy, it's probably not enough water, too much sun, or if it's brown and droopy, it's probably too much water, not enough sun. So, you know, just kind of play within that. Get yourself some plants, but I warn you, it is addicting. You will go from 1 to 100 really quickly, and you will love it. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, grow your collection. You grow, girl.